Yeezy, Yeezy, Yeezy just jumped over, jumping. Real friends.
All right, what's up? What's going on? As you can see, I got my microphone in front of me. Decided I would kill two birds with one stone today. I do a podcast show called Normal LOL. And I also have a blog called Normal LOL. And basically that is me giving back as a mental health advocate in regards to mental health and mental illness challenges. So if you ever need any tips on mental health or regarding an assortment of different mental illness challenges, feel free to check that out when you get a chance, all right? So come along for the ride, and I'm going to go ahead and get this show started. All right, welcome back to Normal LOL. I'm your host, El Rico Ramon. Kanye West. Usually I do not dive into things going on regarding news and media or entertainers, but as it relates to mental illness challenges, what a perfect topic to talk about. You know what's being tossed around. Kanye West, does he have mental illness challenges? Or the statement, he does have a mental illness challenge. Wait a minute. Let's go back. Let's just backtrack. You know, it's interesting. I was texting somebody the other day. His name is Tallahassee, and he just asked a simple question. The question was, why y'all say Kanye mentally ill? Simple question, great question. And my response was, people should be careful with who they attach mental illness to, you know? Not to mention, mental illness is relative to each person, each group, each culture, and perspective regarding present reality. So I say that to say that one person's normalcy is another person's mental illness, and vice versa. Mental illness is predicated amongst many variables. One could be a diagnosis from a doctor or therapist in particular, or specialist in particular, self-diagnosis, genetics. Many people who have a mental illness don't even know they have a mental illness. I'm not saying Kanye West doesn't have a mental illness, by the way. I'm just saying we shouldn't just put labels on people without knowing for a fact that this is what this individual is going through. I have not heard yet, to this point, Kanye West say that I suffer with ABC. Yes, he suffered with depression in the past. As an artist myself, most artists do cope and deal with mental illness challenges frequently for long periods of time. So it could be possible, but that's a strong label, and that's not fair. And as someone who fights against the stigmas associated with mental illness challenges, we can't just throw people in a box because of the things that they do, you know, or have done. A lot of people want to take it to the extreme because of the rant. And I'm sure you know by now, so I'm not going to go all the way through it, you know. I think the rant that sticks out is, you know, him saying that if he would have voted, he would have voted for Donald Trump. And he's glad that, you know, Trump has shed a light on racists. And I think a few weeks ago with Beyonce and Jay-Z, you know, them not coming to check on them and not having family get-togethers or whatnot. Look, you know what? That man, how he feels and how he chooses to express himself is his business. I don't agree with, you know, what he has said either. What I don't agree with in particular is the venue and environment in which he chooses to express himself. Interesting enough, Richard Pryor and many comedians use the stage as a couch. It's therapy, it's therapeutic to be able to release your thoughts and your opinions. Again, I'm not saying I agree with Kanye, but what I am saying is that no, he probably should not pick that arena and environment to express himself. But two, is he hurting anybody in particular, directly or indirectly? He hasn't killed anybody. He's not harming himself, as we know. He's not harming anybody else at this moment, as we know. Again, all I'm saying is that I feel like we associate mental illness based upon certain characteristics and symptoms of individuals. And that's part of the stigma because of movies, because of books and magazines and shows that depict mental illness in a certain way, in a certain light and category, that has to mean that anybody who portrays themselves this way and walks this way has a mental illness challenge. And that is not true. That's not true. You should not do that. I'm no expert, on every mental illness. And I'm not even saying that how I feel and what I'm saying is right. It's right based upon my journey and my trial. And that could be insignificant. There's billions of people in this world, and my trial is my trial, your trial is your trial. And we all have them. And nobody's above or lower than anybody else. We're all one here. But what I'm saying is that, you just got to be really careful when you attach mental illness to somebody based upon just any characteristic in particular. But somebody else might say, yeah, but he was kicking and screaming, when they were trying to take him to the hospital. Well, wouldn't you? Wouldn't you be kicking and screaming? Does that mean you have a mental illness, I mean, look what happened to Prince earlier this year. Look what happened to Michael Jackson. These entertainers go through some things that neither you or I are probably capable of dealing with. Am I excusing his behavior? No, I'm not. I'm not excusing his behavior. Again, I don't agree with the environment and venue, of how he expressed himself. Because people come to hear music. Just like when people go to hear comedy, they go to hear comedy to laugh, It just so happens that comedians like Richard Pryor or Dave Chappelle especially Dave Chappelle, have a really awesome way of tying in politics and their opinions in their comedy. So it's part of the show. Now, maybe if Kanye put it in his music and made it a part of the show, maybe it would still be entertaining and maybe it would have the impact that it needs to have. But let's not get too riled up because this man lives in his own reality. A reality is a dimension of sorts in one individual's mind, and every person, every individual is allowed to feel the way they want to feel about whatever's going on in their life. And you don't have to agree. You probably shouldn't agree. That's what's wrong with an unpopular message. Just because it's not popular, just because you don't agree with it, doesn't mean that it's wrong. It just means that you disagree. And it doesn't align itself. The message does not align itself with you and your motives and your agenda and your reality and your upbringing and your identity and who you are at this moment today. But who knows? Maybe if you were living the same life he was living in his shoes, maybe you would see things from a different perspective. I don't know. You probably shaking your head and saying, no, I wouldn't. You don't know that. You're not there. You're here. You are who you are today. You know what I'm saying? So, again, I'm not saying I agree with his message. And I'm not saying that I agree with how he decided to portray his message. But what I am saying is that I feel like he is allowed to have his own thoughts and his own opinions as a person. And I think that part, and under those guidelines, nobody should be insulted. I don't understand where this bully mentality, where people just want to call people names and be so negative. That's not what this journey of life is about. It's about love. It's about unity and harmony. And somebody might say, well, what he's saying doesn't reflect unity and harmony. That's not your business. You should reflect love, peace, and harmony. And maybe he does need help. Who knows? And if he decides to put that out there, that he's getting help, that he needs help, that he has, again, a mental illness challenge, well, then he'll do that on his own, underneath his own umbrella. So, I wanted to raise that question, is he wrong, though? In general, is he wrong, though? Is it really, a mental illness challenge, Does it deserve that label? You may say yes. Again, that's your opinion. I disagree, but that's your opinion. I think ultimately and lastly, what I'm just trying to say is that I just think we need to just be love, be unity, be peace, be harmony all the time, the best we can. Nobody's perfect. Nobody. Including him, including you, including me. We got some thoughts and opinions about things that other people wouldn't agree with either. Now, maybe we wouldn't get out on stage in the middle of nowhere and say it like that, and that's cool, but the fact remains that you are yourself, maybe, or maybe you don't have your own thoughts and opinions and you just go along with the bandwagon of people. That raises another question. Who's really mentally ill and who's really normal?